Flash number 41, we've got Joshua Williamson, thankfully, writing it, and Carlos Deanda on the art. And of course, with Grodd's here, the entire city, Central City's frozen in time because of Speed Force, and Barry's not got his powers. He's probably going to be frozen eventually, but there's still like a trace of Speed Force, so he's still around and talking. We got the other speeds. We got Avery. We got new Wally, original Wally. They're trying to figure things out. And as previously, I think this issue continued the general goodwill that I think the book's been building up. I love the fact that it's jumping between the two main Flashes. You know, there's narration from Barry for a while. He's getting a little bit tetchy. He's feeling naked without his powers, and he wants his powers back. You know, it goes. Obviously, my favourite section is probably Wally going around the city and talking about how he misses the city and how he talks about the florist who said, you know, he's like, oh, but I took Linda there and I got her flowers, and he told me, don't get the roses, everyone gets the roses, so I got her lilies, and that ended up being her favourite.
Got her tulips.
Tulips, that was the one. The point was that he changed the flowers, and that was her favourite.
Yeah.
The actual flower was neither here nor there, but yes, Matt.
This makes me miss this. No, this just makes me miss the Wally series so much.
Oh yeah.
Like, and I like Barry. Like, I tend to love all the Flash characters, right? And you know, and I miss Bart, but young Wally, he's come really to his own, and we've gotten Avery. But man, Wally West is my Flash, and so to see him going through here, it made me feel nice. But then I always remember Zoom's at the end of this tunnel, like, and that's scary.
And obviously Barry and Wally have a bit of, a bit of a disagreement, because Barry sends away the younger Flashes. He's like, hey, get out here. And of course they ignore him, like, hey, let's go try and talk to Mina. We might be able to win her back over. I don't see that ending well, but that's their plan. And of course, Wally ends up fighting with the speed god. What's his face? Raijin. I say it a different way every time I say it.
That's cool.
But he ends up fighting him, and they obviously want this lightning wand that Barry's got a hold of, because Grodd needs it to like finish his Speed Force storm like beacon device
transfer.
There you go, that whole thing. And they basically also figure out that when he does what he's going to do, it'll take all their Speed Force from them as well. So all the Flashes will have their speed drained.
Well, and if it doesn't get solved quick, the Central City will hit absolute zero. Yeah, and that's it for everybody. So I like that Williamson added that ticking clock.
Yeah, no, it's good, especially when you've got a character like the Flash and everything's about time. Adding a ticking clock actually really thematically works with
definitely
the character.
Oh man!
So I think it especially works now with Barry, you know, not able to make time last longer than it should. He's running on regular speed, and he's struggling with that.
Iron Heights is outside the city limits, right? Because it's out on the island.
I assume so.
I think it's still in the bubble though, right? Because Kristen's still frozen. She's there.
No, because he talks to her.
No, he doesn't. He walks around her and he talks about her. He narrates about her.
Oh, crap. Okay.
I think he says something to her, but she's frozen in time.
I read that quick. This is the last thing I read today. So I was trying to get through it before we started.
Because it's like that little sort of like somber moment as he's like, you know, saying how he, like, well, I mean, that sounds like he's confessing romance, but he's talking about how he feels.
Yeah.
As she's like standing there frozen. Yeah, they're all frozen.
Oh, they are, aren't they? That's why it's okay.
So, because basically it builds up. He goes to Iron Heights because he's got this really bad idea to get August's help, get Godspeed on the case, because he still has his speed. Godspeed can help.
Yeah.
So,
well, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. You know, so
and I think
if there's anybody that knows a thing or two about stealing Speed Force, it is Godspeed.
And we've said this before, but he's really played the long game with this run, and bringing in Godspeed here, where we've had the idea that maybe he could be redeemed. He's shown some some nice qualities recently, and then this is like might be a terrible idea, but it might work. Like it might be the other speed ally they need.
Yeah, definitely. It's he's shown potentially some redemption is possible for him, so it makes sense for Barry to go to this.
Yeah, and it's setting up the conflict as well, where Barry seems to be like desperate, like he's naked without his powers, and he's feeling the pressure and he's desperate almost to like solve this, and he wants his powers back. And Wally kind of calls him out on it. So we're kind of setting up the seeds for how, maybe not why Flash War starts, but at least why Zub is able to manipulate them into a war. It's like the seeds are there.
They're a little antagonistic already, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's,
also,
that's
all
cool.
this talk about Barry being Barry before the powers, and he didn't like who that was. Has that always been a thing? Because that seemed new to me. even as a long-time Flash reader.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that core idea. I think because a big part of what this last couple of arcs have done is it's the idea that because even what Grodd and everyone was saying to him at the start of the arc is without your powers you were nothing. Like and even the idea earlier on in the run where it talked about the Flash being the biggest villain to Barry Allen. Like that's what ruins his life. So it's really examining what it means to his life and what he is with and without the powers. And I think that's kind of the debate that we're bringing up here.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I think because he feels helpless, he feels like he's useless without his powers because he can't just go and save Iris. He can't go do other things. And of course, that's the other moment I really liked. Of course, was when Wally sees Iris and he's like. So I think we're going to end this arc maybe, or maybe during Flash War we'll get him telling Iris of everything.
I think so. Yeah.
I think we're building to that.
Yeah. I think that might be something that incites Flash War of him wanting to, Barry saying no. Yeah,
possibly. Yeah, so that's the reason. That could be the big cliffhanger at the end of this arc that kind of leads into the main Flash War.
So if she remembers everything, right? If he basically wakes her up, does she remember everything like he does? So like the Linda stuff.
Presumably.
Iris is one of those Crux characters. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I wonder if it won't wake her up right away, and she'll just like not sure if she can believe it. Like it'll sound so bizarre and strange.
Yeah.
Or maybe they do the whole route where much like we've seen with other characters, where it does just wake them up. I wonder like. Then she remembers being married to Barry, and like
that's what I was thinking. Once you do that,
about.
you have to introduce all the Barry stuff that she remembers.
But that could cause conflict. Though maybe that's what starts the war because she's then pissed at Barry for not telling her. And but to be fair, I think in Barry's defense, how do you tell someone that by the way there was an alternate reality where we were married and like we had all this history? Like that's a lot to try and elude on someone. That's intimidating.
Yeah, I totally get why Barry wouldn't have done it, but like we don't know how Iris reacts to things. How did she react when she found out he was the Flash?
She killed Zoom or Zoom.
Professor Zoom.
Professor Zoom. Yeah, that one. Thawne.
Yeah,
Reverse Flash.
Thawne and Zolomon. Let's just say Thawne and Zolomon because it gets confusing.
Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, I like that, but just the fact that New 52 had the Daniel West Reverse Flash, and then there's Professor Zoom, and then there's Zoom, and then just they all have the same.
Yeah.
I was mostly a fan of the art, but it's clear that this was a fill-in for G. Domenico in the sense that trying to do a similar style.
Similar.
I think the style worked though. I think the overall look at everyone being frozen was pretty cool. Honestly, my only complaint, I thought the colouring on like original Wally's suit was just a little bit too
pink.
a bit too pink.
Yeah, there was that, and then there was a couple of times the speedsters when they were in speed mode, their front foot would look huge. If you go to the very final page, look at Godspeed's front foot. It looks so. It looks so oversized compared to the rest of him. Like if you look at his foot and then his head. It's just like, okay, that's too big.
Well, what I also liked about the arc, like Pete was saying, it's like G. Domenico, but it also feels like Porter. Like it's in the sweet spot. It feels like Flash.
It's kind of in between.
And then you pick up on those flaws, like Connor saying.
Don't get me wrong, it's pretty good, but there's just a couple of things that stop it being as good as it could be.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, I'd be all for seeing Deanda and more stuff. I'm not familiar with them.
Not me either, which is why, like I say here, I don't know if this is his usual style or if it's more okay, this is what G. Domenico has been doing for this arc, let's try and emulate that and get in that zone. If that's the case, it's a very good job at emulating that for sure, though, because it definitely feels consistent.